on a projector south of the northeast across the Pacific to spinning at a rate of 15,000 feet per second. Range to touch it down to 300 miles. All the systems in excellent shape.
In the airport
This view out of one of Integrity's windows. We had a call for 3 good barrows. Those are barometric pressure sensors feed altitude and rate of descent information to Integrity's computers that will trigger the parachute deployment sequence. We are less than 9 minutes away from entry interface, 22 minutes. You can see the reflection of one of the crew members in the window. Out of the weather conditions remain go. Just a few clouds, some scattered clouds. Wind 10 knots. Wave heights just about 4 feet. A gentle day in the Pacific before the homecoming of Integrity's astronauts.
Playback.
You should have came off board, Jack.
Now, 6 minutes away from entry interface. We will hit first traces of atmosphere at an altitude of 100,000 feet. Traveling about 850 feet. Once again, just to you expect to lose communications with the people and the crew during a 6-minute blackout period. plasma build around the addition to heat effect. Dynamics has just confirmed that we will have a blackout period of exactly 6 minutes in duration. And once again, due to the fact that the plasma buildup around the vehicle will prevent the communications and data, so we will not be able to talk to the crew members at that time, nor will we receive data here in the flight control room.
You're on board, just confirm no pre-EI downforce.
Blackout period to begin at 53 and 54 seconds p.m. Central Time, and again will last about 6 minutes in duration. We're 4 minutes away from entry interface. The temperature has less than 3 minutes from interface. $16.5 minutes till splashdown. The USS John P. Preston in position at the infantry assets to receive imagery from as Artemis enters the Earth's atmosphere and through parachute deployment. All of integrity systems are in great shape, but the crew is ready to plead admission just 15.5 minutes from now. All of the activities have gone off in perfect fashion. No issues with the vehicle, no issues with the crew. And the weather at the splashdown site is go. Coming up on 1 minute until entry interface. Mark 1 minute until entry interface. 1 minute, 20 seconds until the expected start of our 6-minute blackout.
Integrity, 1 minute to a 6-minute blackout.
Integrity.
10 seconds till entry interface. And we have crossed the threshold now, entering the Earth's atmosphere. Time to splash down 13 minutes, 10 seconds. And we've cleared our communications blackout. This will be a 6-minute blackout period. No voice, no data from crew. We're 30 seconds away from the point of peak heating on the vehicle, where temperatures rise to about 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the trip depth of our trajectory. So that pinpoint of light shows the vehicle as it enters a period of peak heating in the Earth's atmosphere. The first tuft of gravity being felt by Integrity's astronauts since it launched back up first. Four and a half minutes in the blackout period. Time down 11 minutes, 33 seconds. The landing and support officer reports that P3 has acquisition on liquidity. Three and a half left in it. still in the blackout period, so that the not have communications from the crew. Got blacked out here to We are now processing data from technology. Planning and support officer reports small boats are en route to the splashdown. Passing 200,000 feet, our trajectory. That's 19. 10,000 feet. Jim? Search and recovery beacon is not active integrity. Sure, it's good. Good, just separate.
Good looking parachute. Negative. Cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine check.
This is a perfect descent for integrity. Its crew sounding hardy on board. Time to splash down 1 minute 15 seconds. Integrity journey, 694,481 miles from its launch from feet.
Integrity.
And the landing and support officer reports the vehicle escaped one. He's still deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation. Perfect bullseye splashdown to integrity and splashdown. The unofficial splashdown time, 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m. Central Time. We'll get that refined for you. That would put the end of the mission at a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 31 minutes, 35 seconds. And we're configuring for very low date break. Once again, splashdown occurring in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego at 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m.
We have over in deployment.
Communications established.
We are stable one. Remember.
We crew members that up their condition. That is the fact that they're in great condition. That's what that means. So stable one, upright, the propelling system did maintain the upright configuration for the vehicle. This was a textbook entry of a touchdown for integrity. Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christine Cook, and Jeremy Hansen back on Earth after a journey around the moon. We continue to monitor the functioning of the senior system. The airbags are being inflated to maintain a stable one or upright configuration. There's a good view from one of the naval helicopters hovering overhead. Reed Wiseman reporting 4 green crew members, meaning they're all in excellent shape.
Integrity is for star beacon and radio.
Our beacon is in 406, and we're firing it now. Go ahead.
We see the beacon on, however, the recovery team is not seeing the signal. Your star radio uses the same antenna, so you may run into trouble with the radio.
Okay, copy, and we're also firing up to the sat phone now.
So integrity is in great shape, and as the crew continues its post-splashdown timelined activities on board, Reed Wiseman once again reporting that all 4 crew members are in excellent shape. And we have 5 inflated airbags to maintain an upright configuration so that the recovery team can now begin a slow approach to the vehicle. Meanwhile, here in the flight control room, entry flight director Rick Henfling is polling his team of flight controllers for the start of powering down the vehicle after a thorough systems check. We have no toxic gases to be concerned about, so the recovery personnel can approach the vehicle, but not until we have powered down the spacecraft. That's expected to take a few more minutes. process. The milestones will execute everything in this atmosphere right on time. Pushing it to peak speed, short of gap of blackout for free again. We're going to stop the blackout here, but the recovery airport we saw the twin substitute plants first hopefully top of the middle is the three particles velocity of integrity just
Houston, with no jump on far and we like to expand an additional 6 minutes for a total of 3 minutes power down delay.
All right, Jack, you in this one, P/DE+320. No joy on that. 3 horse effort. Stand by with the faster than on start video. Please hold on. Yeah, we got the master than on start.
good view of one of the
If you are happy with your compliment, you can go back to the 15-minute power down.
Okay, stand by. Yeah, we'll cover for me.
crew on board and integrity coordinate with the flight control team and use the air control on the timing of the power down of the precursor to the routine picking the spacecraft. There are no issues with integrity. We have a bit of booking capability in establishing a SARSAT satellite phone communications capability between crew on board and crew and the recovery team. That's out here shortly. Cooling on board. So we'll rush again the power down.
On that phone and us here so they can hear us.
Interesting copies, and we just to confirm from you are CGTN on the radio.
So as we continue to sort out the communications between the recovery teams, we are standing by for the initiation of power down procedures. That, as you see, the recovery team is moving towards the site of Capitol. The next major event will be the erection of a large inflatable raft called the front porch. That will be the port of call for crew as they're being extracted one by one from the vehicle.
We are going to call it.
We are pushing the pushes on the two buttons on the left side of the radio below the up-down arrows. We are utilizing them. I'm rebooting the radio to see if we can get good comms.
We got this out, and just to confirm, you are speaking at your touchdown plus 3030 for hour.
Please road it.
We are trying a backdoor approach to have mission control here call the crew on their satellite phone. It's all part of the coordination power down of the vehicle that will initiate the actual recovery operation. The first boats with Navy doctors on board are standing by, waiting to close in on integrity to begin the process of erecting a large inflatable raft. That's called the front porch. That will be where the astronauts are extracted from, so that they can have a few minutes to get their legs back before they're hoisted aboard the Navy helicopters for flight back to the deck of the USS John Murphy.
And using, please, NRD, very weak, unreadable, master diver. We can hear us.
This is Mission Control here. While we stand by for the establishment of communications between Integrity and the recovery team that is basically standing by very close to the spacecraft, we're going to go to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha, where Megan Cruz is standing by with Administrator Jared Isaacman.
Hey, Rob, yeah, just such an honor to be able to be here on the ship, to be able to share and experience this moment with everyone together. And of course, as you said, here with NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. Administrator, how did you feel getting to witness this and seeing that system?
I mean, I'm honestly still at a loss of words. You know, like a child to Jared, like, I can't believe what I just saw. I mean, I'm waiting my whole lifetime to see this, and then as NASA Administrator, I just couldn't be more proud of the entire workforce, the years, the effort, the late nights, all the hard work across the country that contributed to this incredible moment right now. And yeah, it was great to be part who's here on Murtha.
Yeah, what the fun is here?
Wait, I think we just brought astronauts back to the moon. Thank you. Yeah, so grateful to the that are here at the teams, and this is a joint effort that's on the way right now. Recovery forces are getting out to our Orion spacecraft to Integrity, get our astronauts back on the ship safely.
Yeah, this is not just an accomplishment for NASA. This is an accomplishment for humanity, and a historic mission to the moon and back. How does this make you feel, and what do you hope people take away from this?
Well, I'll tell you, I think about our crew members that we've all had an opportunity to observe over the last 10 days, right? I mean, they're absolutely professional astronauts. I mean, wonderful communicators, almost poets. But then I think these were the ambassadors from humanity to the stars that we send out there right now. And I can't imagine a better crew, the Artemis II crew that just completed a perfect mission right now. So yes, it's a huge moment for everybody, right? I mean, we're back in the business of sending astronauts to the moon, bringing them back safely, and to set up for a series more. I mean, this is not a once-in-a-lifetime. You hear sometimes around here, it's like, this was a once-in-a-lifetime. No, it's not. This is just the beginning. We're going to get back to doing this with frequency, sending missions to the moon until we land on it in 2028 and start building up this.
Yeah, are we going to build on the momentum for Artemis III? I mean, it's just around the corner.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, part of me too. Like, I can't wait to get the crew off of Integrity right now, but also get the Integrity back on the ship so we can start getting the light out, because all that data is so precious to us right now. I mean, we're going to definitely want to take a look at the thermal protection system. We're going to download all the data they couldn't transmit back to us and use that to inform Artemis 3. But we're already making progress, right? You had SRB segments already showing up at KC core stage for Artemis 3 is rolling out on April 20th. We're getting Mobile Launcher 1 back in the vehicle assembly building. So yes, there is a lot to celebrate right now on a mission well accomplished for Artemis 2. And at the same time, we got to start getting ready for 3.
Amazing. And last question, for people who joined us for all 10 days to see what we can accomplish together with international partners, what do you think about the fact that we're going to keep doing this more and more and more?
See, it's incredibly exciting. I mean, yes, it's the contributions of the best enterprise across the NASA workforce, across the country, our industry partners, our international partners, the Canadian Space Agency astronaut on board and carrying the European service module. And you think, in the days leading up to this launch, I mean, 48 hours prior to launching Artemis II, I was meeting the Space Agency and signed a memorandum of understanding to build countries, all of our allies and partners coming together saying, we are committed to this effort, we are returning to the moon, we're doing it to stay, we are building that enduring presence, we are going to master the skills on the surface of the moon so someday we can undertake missions to Mars. It's just an incredibly exciting time, and we're not going at it alone, we're bringing everybody along with us.
Absolutely, and speaking of everyone, one more time, we're going to ask the crew here, you guys ready to land on the moon? I love that. Okay, well, thank you so much, Administrator. Appreciate you being here. We're, of course, going to stay on to watch the crew get extracted from Orion, so stay tuned, and we'll see you back here shortly.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you, Administrator Isaacman. We are in the process of working to establish that communications link and to establish the procedures that will lead to the power down of the spacecraft, which is gently bobbing in the Pacific following a bullseye touchdown that occurred at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time, 2.5 hours before sunset in the Pacific, southwest San Diego. We have once again heard from the crew during that interview opportunity with the administrator, and we have 4 healthy crew members on board. We now have confirmation that the vehicle has been powered down as per the procedures, so we can get power down, and the flight control team here at Houston, Director Rick Hanfling, has handed over mission authority to the exploration ground systems team out on the Pacific now. We will physically be off console this team until into the front porch. All of the by the book, no issues, perfect trajectory before integrity. That was culminated with one final raise burn to improve the angle that it was a bit of your atmosphere, all of that dynamics computation. Looked like So we are standing by for the recovery team to approach integrity and begin the process of erecting that inflatable raft called the front porch, which will see the crew members be extracted from the hatch of Orion into that inflatable raft before they're hoisted aboard 2 Navy helicopters in a variety of different configurations. Each crew member will be hoisted in sequential fashion, in alternating fashion, 2 crew members for each helicopter before they turn around and head back to the John P. Murtha. Once on the deck of the ship, they'll be brought into medical bay for preventive medical exam. Reed Wiseman has reported several times that the crew is in excellent shape. So the recap has been some 20.5 splashdown integrity in the Pacific. The vehicle is in excellent shape. It performed a light check all the way down 3 years ago. All of the functions were checked off in excellent grip hammer fashion. We purchased deployed and slashing at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. And possible communications with the recovery team. We were finally able to run the procedures for powering out the vehicle. We go over mission authority, exploration grounds in the Pacific, and the recovery team will be pushing the vehicle forward to the front porch. Hatch was on that before helicopters, 2 crew members for each helicopter, before they're flown back to the deck of the USS John Merlin. After talking to an actress, we have a bit of a refinement on the splashdown time for you. Their computation shows a splashdown time of 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. That would equate to a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds. Once again, from Flight Dynamics, a splashdown time of 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. It would equate to a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds. Reports from the Pacific indicate that the recovery team, in communication with the crew aboard Integrity, that the crew remains in excellent shape as they await the approach of the team for a final hazard gas evaluation before they move to the side of the vehicle to erect the inflatable life raft called the front porch. Again, no issues with Integrity. The vehicle is powered down. All of its systems are now safe. We have handed over mission authority exploration ground systems to the Pacific. But we will not stand down and have the entry flight control team park its positions until that inflatable raft, the front porch, is erected, the hatch open, and the crew having exited the vehicle. So that's the next step in the recovery process that will lead to the hoisting of the crew members. For 2 crew members for each helicopter, they'll be hoisted a pair of Navy helicopters that will then fly a short distance back to the USS John P. Murtha. What you're looking at is one of the fast boats circling the vehicle to make a hazard assessment. This is Mission Control Houston. Once again, you're watching the initiation of the recovery of the Artemis crew aboard in temporary. All of the Navy divers, boats are now approaching the spacecraft after conducting a hazard assessment. The vehicle has been powered down. And the project director, canceling, now waiting for the laptop, the porch, to be along the side of the vehicle. So the hatch can be opened and the crew members from everything to be hoisted one by one and will hit our Navy helicopter for a short flight back to the USS John P. Murtha. We talked a more official down a splashdown time, as it were, 7:27 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Pacific Time. That would equate to a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds. continuing to get excellent views from the imagery assets out at sea in the Pacific of Integrity. We continue to get good reports from the landing and support officer who's in contact with the recovery team that the crew is in excellent shape, no issues. They're just currently biding their time, waiting for the front porch to be erected. We have no hazardous hazard gases and no hazardous situation with the vehicle. It performed perfectly all the way down from entry interface to its splashdown in the Pacific at 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. And as you can see, the first phalanx of recovery personnel now pulling up alongside of Integrity. This includes Navy divers, a Navy flight surgeon, and other recovery personnel who have trained for several years for this recovery process. At this hour, some 41 minutes following splashdown, the vehicle has been powered down. There's no hazardous gas emanating from the vehicle. That's why the first team of recovery personnel has been able to pull alongside Integrity. And the reports continue to come in that the 4 astronauts are in excellent shape. Yes. This is Mission Control Houston, continuing to watch the initiation of the recovery of Integrity's astronauts. One by one, they'll be brought out of the spacecraft onto a large inflatable raft just a short time from now. In the meantime, we can go back to the USS John P. Murtha, where my colleague Megan Cruz is standing by to provide her situation report. Megan, can you hear us?
Hey, Rob, yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Yeah, we're back here on the bow of the recovery ship where there are still plenty of people peering out into the water. We are not very far from the action everyone is seeing on their screen now. The Orion spacecraft, Integrity, in the ocean, surrounded by a number of recovery boats. as Rob has been saying, in those recovery boats, NASA and Navy personnel specifically trained to get the astronauts out of Orion. In some of our wide shots, you can probably see that there are 6 boats out in the water. More than 40 people out in the water right now on those boats. First order of business is to set up the front porch and the stabilization collar. You might also hear it referred to as a stab collar. Basically just to make sure that Orion stays upright, doesn't sway in the water too much, again, to make it easier for recovery forces to get the astronauts out. Again, we splashed down in the Pacific Ocean just after 5 p.m. Pacific time here. It's a requirement by NASA to be able to get the crew out of Orion within 2 hours of splashdown. So doing great on time so far. Plenty of time. No rush either. I was speaking to NASA flight surgeon Rick Schuring earlier in this broadcast, and he said to me, no rush to get the crew out. Just want to make sure that they're feeling good. And whenever they're ready to take their step out of Orion and onto that large raft, the front porch, folks will be ready. Mission audio loops in Mission Control in Houston. There is a mission audio loop here on the ship, and it was just reported out that the side hatch is open. Side hatch of integrity is open. You're getting these beautiful shots from our aerial assets. The ship itself, where I'm on, just 3,000 yards away. Again, plenty of people on the boat here, glued to the side closest to where they can see all this action. And again, with just 3,000 yards separating us, great views from the bow here. You can see now that side hatch is open. One of the Navy personnel is about to get inside there. In they go. In total, 4 will go into Orion. So it'll be a little bit of a tight squeeze, but the goal is to have a recovery personnel with each astronaut assessing them. Boats getting closer now. Again, that one that's right up against Orion, those are the divers that will go in to the spacecraft to check on each of the astronauts. These other boats will begin doing a number of things, putting on that stabilization collar onto Orion, building that front porch. Eventually they will retrieve the parachutes, as well as tow Orion back to the well deck of the recovery ship here. And so as we wait for the Navy and NASA personnel to get their assessment of the crew inside of Orion, why don't we toss it back to Rob for an update.
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Here in Mission Control, Flight Director Rick Henfling and the entry team of flight controllers still on duty. The vehicle has been powered down for some time now. There are no hazardous gases emanating from Integrity. That, of course, allowed the recovery personnel to approach the vehicle and then open the hatch to begin the initial medical assessment of the crew, as you just indicated. Now we're standing by for the erection of that inflatable raft, the front porch, alongside of the vehicle that will enable the crew to be extracted one by one onto the raft, have a moment or two to get their land legs back before they're hoisted into two hovering Navy helicopters, 2 crew members for each helicopter, for a short flight back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha. All of Integrity's systems operated flawlessly throughout the course of the approach to the Earth, the entry into the Earth's atmosphere, and all of the key milestones that followed in this high-speed return to Earth for Integrity. A mission that spanned more than 694,000 miles from the vehicle's launch from the Kennedy Space Center atop the Space Launch System back on April 1st. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the last time that the Apollo program saw a splashdown in the Pacific was Apollo 17 back on December 19th, 1972. So for the first time in 53 and a half years, we have reenacted that with the arrival of Integrity's astronauts as they flew around the moon in that historic lunar flyby that began with a trans-lunar injection burn that took them out of Earth orbit following 24 hours of a high Earth orbit trajectory. The high Earth orbit trajectory enabled flight controllers here to have a full 24 hours to evaluate the systems on Integrity and the condition of the crew before they would commit to flying to the moon. With the side hatch of Orion having been opened to set the stage for the erection of the inflatable life raft known as the front porch to be erected alongside the spacecraft for the extraction of the crew. Let's play for you an interview that my colleague Megan Cruz conducted on the USS John P. Murtha with Navy diver First Class David McMahon that explains how this process is unfolding.
Okay, Davey, so you and some of your team, one last look over of the stabilization collar, correct?
That's right.
Okay, so what is the stabilization collar?
This is what's going to stabilize the capsule out there in the ocean. We don't know how good the weather or the waves will be that day, so this will help prevent any unnecessary occurrences from happening, stabilizing the capsule and the astronauts inside.
So basically this is a float that will go around Orion. I'm assuming that what they're doing right now, these are the lines that will attach the collar onto Orion?
That is correct.
And so what are they doing here?
So we've got the lower line that will secure the inflation device before we inflate it. That gives us the go-ahead that it's secure in space, and then we'll inflate it. And then once that is done, we'll undo all the carabiners and get this orange line on top tied in the same fashion. And then this will be secured to the capsule, and the astronauts can safely take their first steps out of the capsule onto the front porch.
Okay, and how long will it take them to set up the stabilization collar?
Definitely will handle this in under 10 minutes.
Okay, wow. And then you just mentioned the front porch, so basically after they set up the stabilization collar, then they set up what's called the front porch here.
That's great.
Okay, and what's the front porch?
Front porch is basically a bigger waiting room for the astronauts to sit in while we wait for the helicopters to shut things around.
Okay, so the medical team that was inside and with the crew, they're going to help them out and onto the front porch?
That is correct.
And then what happens here?
We have hired trained medical personnel also on board the front porch that will give them look overs and just make sure they're okay while we wait for the helicopters to show up.
Okay, how does it feel, I mean, your team, you, to be part of a mission that's returning astronauts from the moon in more than 50 years?
We all feel surely honored to be a part of this, as well as a bigger mission for the Navy, joining up with NASA to do great things.
And do you feel like you're your team already?
Yes, very good.
Cool. All right, thank you so much.
Yes.
Once again, the recovery operations are continuing out in the Pacific. We shortly should see that life raft, the front porch, erected alongside the side hatch of the vehicle. A number of flight controllers have come into the flight control room to receive congratulations from Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling. But we're going to stick with our operations out in the Pacific as we await the extraction of the 4 crew members who are reported to be in excellent condition. Again, while we stand by for that front porch to be erected alongside of the side hatch of the vehicle, let's go back to the USS John P. Murtha and Megan Cruz. Megan?
Hey, Rob. Pausing now to listen to some internal audio loops again. The operations team here on the ship communicating with everyone out on the water. Seems like currents are hindering them a little bit from unfurling and inflating the stabilization collar as well as the front porch. But again, the requirement to get the crew out within 2 hours of splashdown, plenty of time. So no concerns just yet. But as calm as the water looks, yeah, it looks like it's hindering the teams just a tad. You can see in seeing some of our shots, the side hatch still open. Again, inside there are now 8 people inside. 4 divers, Navy divers, all with medical training, each assigned to an astronaut each. Making sure that they're comfortable, feeling good. As you've heard us say in the broadcast, they expect a little bit of discomfort. Again, these astronauts just traveled back to Earth at 25,000 miles an hour, a nearly 695,000-mile journey around the moon. But do you think you'd get carsick? Again, 6 boats out there, lots of gear with them, just in case, right? As we said, the crew reported feeling great. But again, all those folks out there in case they weren't, right? NASA is all about making sure we think about every situation that can happen. And so, of course, wanted to be ready in case any of our astronauts needed more medical attention while out there in the water. You see now teams again trying to set up the stabilization collar and front porch for the crew to get out of Orion. They need both, right? The stabilization collar will keep Orion from swaying as you see it is doing now. And then they will connect the front porch to the stabilization collar so that the crew can take 2 steps and they will be in the front porch. Chatter on the mission audio list, that's a good thing. Again, things proceeding pretty nominally, even if they're fighting some currents out there in the Pacific Ocean. Again, the goal of setting up the stabilization collar and the front porch so that the crew can rest comfortably in the front porch, get placed into harnesses so that 2 helicopters can lift them off the front porch and onto the USS John Messenger. The helicopters are going to take turns picking up an astronaut. So again, Helo 1 and Helo 2. Team here on the ship just got a report from the undersea medical officer who is inside the capsule with the crew. He is reporting all 4 members are green. All of our 4 astronauts, Reed, Victor, Christina, Jeremy, green, and they're feeling great. Conscious infection of this one. They are feeling great, happy to be home, and ready to be extracted as soon as possible. So, as I was saying, we have 2 helicopters circling the activity you're seeing on the water right now. Each will take turns picking up an astronaut. So Helo 1 will come on in, hover above the front porch, about 40 feet above the front porch. A Navy recovery specialist will be hoisted down into the front porch. Will connect to the first astronaut, which we're expecting to be Christina. And then Helo 2 comes around, picks up Jeremy, while Helo 1 stays above head, and then Helo 1 will come back in for another astronaut, and then Helo 2 for the last astronaut, and then back to the flight deck here on the recovery ship. I was talking to Assistant Artemis Recovery Director Paul Sierpinski. He said healers are a much quicker, safer way to get on board. They did actually consider boats, but then if you think about it, longer time, the crew would have to move through more of the ship. This way the healers will give a more direct, quicker route to the medical bay for our 4 astronauts. Beautiful shots from our aerial and imagery teams. Clouds have dissipated for a clear view from the bow of the recovery ship here. You can still see divers in the water there. Encircling Orion, that is that stabilization column we can tell you about. As you saw in that interview just a few minutes ago, they have to first connect to Orion, and then once it's secured onto Orion, they can inflate it, and then they'll further secure it with other harnesses and lines. About an hour and 10 minutes since splashdown in the Pacific Ocean here. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy back home after a history-making mission to the moon and back. What we said just a couple of minutes ago, the undersea medical officer inside with the crew in Orion reported all 4 crew members feeling great. Progress being made there on the stabilization collar, and it looks like they are beginning to inflate it. It looks like they're starting to unfold the front porch in order to get that into the water here shortly and inflate that as well. Again, more than 40 people out in the water right now. And those Navy and NASA personnel have been in the water for now about 4 hours. The reason why they had to get out so early is just to stage everything. And actually here on the ship, when there are flight other operations happening, you can't have anything else, right? Just because a flight deck can be a dangerous place, so they just want to focus on planes coming and going from the ship, so that's why they wanted to get the boats in the water to make sure that they have all the time they needed for the flight ops. And then the same crew here out in the water, they will stay out in the water for a number of hours after we recover the crew and get them back on the ship, because then they have to recover. All right? All right, that stabilization collar looking good around the line. We're now seeing some recovery personnel getting on to that collar. Again, we need to further attach it to a line to make sure that it can really prop up the spacecraft. It's basically lifting it up off of the water just a tad. Again, so it's not so it doesn't sway so much in the water there. And now the front porch looks like it's nearly fully inflated as well. You can see a much larger surface area. So once the crew get out of the line, they can stretch their legs a little bit on this front porch, get some fresh air. And enjoy this beautiful day here on their home planet. Teams now are about to connect the front porch to the stabilization collar. And at that point, when both are secure, we should soon see astronauts come out of the line. Views you see also being fed to the landing force operations center here on the ship. Of course, it is very important for our recovery teams leading the mission to have all the views that you're seeing as well. Again, listening to their communication loop here on the ship. Very quiet, which is a good thing. It means things are going pretty nominally, meaning as expected. All this activity happening just 3,000 yards away from the ship. So that means this will be a very quick flight back on the helicopters for the crew. 2-3 minutes, and then we'll be back here on the ship. Okay, saw a thumbs up from one of the personnel on the front porch. It looks like they are now getting ready to deploy what they call the Air Rescue Vest, ARV. And so this is the harness that each crew member will get into in order to be hoisted into the helicopters. Again, those helicopters hovering just about 40 feet above the front porch when they're ready to pick up each crew member.
This is Mission Control Houston. Behind me, a fairly raucous scene as hundreds of flight controllers have poured into the flight control room here. This is reminiscent of the scene after the final shuttle mission of STS-135, although that was the end of a program. This is only the beginning of a program with the textbook splashdown of integrity and its 4 astronauts. We're standing by for the crew to be extracted from the spacecraft. Entry Flight Director Rick Hensling invited all of these flight controllers who have contributed to this mission to enter the flight control room, to have an opportunity to receive well wishes and to share the mutual glow that exists in the wake of a textbook mission for integrity. On the front screen here in Mission Control, a sign that says "Welcome Home Integrity," taking humanity back to the moon, going further, and returning safely to Earth. So all of that jubilation, part of the post-splashdown activities, even as we await the crew being extracted from the vehicle to be hoisted onto Navy helicopters for the trip back to the USS John P. Murtha. Once again here in Mission Control, this view of the Artemis Flight Control Room, known as the White Flight Control Room. This is the old shuttle flight control room, and now is the home of Artemis missions to the moon and beyond. Once again, quite a few flight controllers were invited in by Entry Flight Director Rick Hensling to share in the jubilation following the successful splashdown of integrity. That splashdown occurring an hour and 22 minutes ago, as we stand by for the completion of the extraction of the crew, and ultimately they're hoisting onto Navy helicopters for a short flight back to the USS John P. Murtha. Splashdown occurred at 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. I had an opportunity to talk to the head of flight dynamics, Jeff Birch, a moment or two ago, He said the trajectory of integrity coming through the Earth's atmosphere was so precise, they've never seen anything line up on a ground track like today's entry by integrity for its splashdown southwest of San Diego. And the initial, you can hear it. Jubilation here in the flight control room. The first crew member is out of integrity. We are expecting the other crew members momentarily to be extracted. We now have 2 crew members out. Two crew members out, 2 to go. We're about 1 hour from sunset out in the Pacific. Everything continues to go well. Integrity's systems functioned perfectly during its entry back to Earth. And Reed Wiseman, the commander who will be last out of the vehicle, reported that all the crew members were feeling very well. Crew member number 3 now. And now standing by for the commander, Reed Wiseman, who will be last out of his ship. Bobbing in the Pacific under almost ideal conditions, Integrity spanned 694,000 miles during its journey from launch to splashdown. Once again, all 4 crew members now on the front porch. And the procedure to begin hoisting them up to these 2 Navy helicopters hovering overhead will begin shortly. This is Mission Control Houston. The mission is over, but the melody lingers on as jubilation continues here in the flight control room. We should be expecting NASA's Associate Administrator, Amit Shatria, to be joining us shortly for a short interview while the recovery operations continue out in the Pacific. So we'll stand by for that. And then we'll turn it back over to Megan Cruz aboard the USS John P. Murtha. This is Mission Control Houston here in the Artemis flight control room. A number of flight controllers are basking in the glory of the successful end of this mission that carried 4 astronauts around the moon on a lunar flyby and a first test flight of Orion with crew members on board. Splashdown occurring an hour and 32 minutes ago after a flawless descent back into the Earth's atmosphere for the vehicle. It's 4 crew members in good shape, simply enjoying their time right now on the front porch, as it were, the inflatable raft alongside of their Integrity spacecraft. We're expecting Amit Shatria, the NASA Associate Administrator, to join us here momentarily for a brief interview before we turn it back over to Megan Cruz aboard the USS John P. Murtha, the recovery ship.
one more helicopter to touch down.
Oh, yes. Yes. What's your name? Spell it. How you feel? Can you talk me about that?
Announcements being made regarding the ship's loudspeaker system to landing first to stay clear of operational areas like the flight deck. So that teams can work quickly to get the crew off the helicopters and into the medical bay.
Can you ask me how he received it?
Last Wednesday, 5:06 p.m. Pacific time. We are within 2 hours of that splashdown time, and already we have all 4 crew members on the flight deck of the USS America.
Do we have anything?
Again, crew leaving before heading out for the helicopters to complete the shutdown. Safety, of course, very important to NASA and the U.S. military.
Your daughter name?
So it's a couple of minutes here before we start seeing crew members walk off the helicopters one by one.
Excited. How can you? No.
Mission Specialist Christina Cook, sitting on the edge, and one of the helicopters looking in great spirits. That familiar smile and laugh from Victor, I can see it from here. Christina, I'm sure feeling the same way, just blocked a little bit by our camera here, but we'll see her here shortly. A photographer taking good pictures. Victor saluting folks on the flight deck. They look like they're in great spirits. Happy to be home, I'm sure. are wondering, what do you want to ask them? You got a chance to talk to them, because that is what I'm doing. Getting the opportunity to talk to or ask questions of these 4 astronauts who just made history as the first crew to return to the moon since 1972. There we see Christina there, also smiling. Finally peering out the window. Welcome back. Welcome home. A loudspeaker announcement on the ship saying, "Welcome home, integrity." If they're in great spirits, I can't see who he's talking to, but I kind of think that he might be talking to his other 2 crew members. Shouting from across the flight deck, congratulations to one another. And so now we see some Navy personnel walking up to the helicopter. This is again the first helicopter carrying pilot Victor Glover and mission specialist Christina Cook. Both have taken off their helmets now. Some pictures, video, to catalog this historic moment. A beautiful sunset just behind them here in the Pacific Ocean. Golden hour. These pictures will be beautiful. Now we see NASA Administrator Jim Isaacson, he is on the flight deck, as well as Flight Surgeon Rick Shuring, walking over to Victor and Christina first. We saw the administrator walk over to the other helicopter, which is carrying Commander Lee Weissman and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen. We heard from Rick earlier in the broadcast, and then he said he's going to be out there on the flight deck to do another initial assessment of the crew, ask them how they're feeling. Has been bothering them. Again, from what I'm seeing, they look like they're in great spirits and feeling pretty good. For folks who just traveled 695,000 miles from Florida to the moon, and now here's the Pacific Ocean. Seeing NASA Administrator Jared Isaacson walking across the flight deck. He had been talking to Reed and Jeremy, now approaching Victor and Christina. A hug from Victor? A hug from Christina? What a moment that we're getting to experience together. I'm sure congratulatory words. You know, we got to speak to the administrator live on this broadcast as well, and he said the kid in him right now, giddy, absolutely giddy, at what we were able to accomplish today. Returning them home safely and in good spirits after a 10-day mission around the moon. And here we go. Christine Burney. Less than a minute, and that's why the recovery team decided to use helicopters to get them on the flight deck for that short walk to back away. And now on the flight deck, we see the Chief of the Astronaut Office, Scott Tingle. Brett Shine, switching places. He's going over to the other helicopter. Big hugs, big hugs. From Victor Christina to Scott. Again, gorgeous sunset, setting the stage for this recovery tonight. All right, and now here we are, Christina. You can see she's looking up and lots of people, just a few levels up, top of that deck. Welcoming her home. Scott holding the door of the gentleman, and back on his way to the other cruiser on the flight deck. Still on the flight deck. Victor Miller and Lee Weissman. It looks like Victor will be the next one heading to the upper deck. More hugs, more hugs. He's under it. Finally, just one Artemis II crew member left on the flight deck. Commander Lee Weissman. He's looking good as he takes his steps towards the master deck. Here are 4 Artemis II crew members back on the ship. Again, now they will head into medical bay, where they will be assessed by flight surgeons from both NASA as well as the Canadian Space Agency. A more in-depth assessment on the medical bay. They will each have their own nurse. They will be helped out of their suits. And then again, we'll check to see that they're feeling good. Make sure it's not just adrenaline, but that they are feeling good from their long journey back home. Beautiful shot of that sunset. Illuminating our flight deck. Safely on board. I want to welcome on Artemis Recovery Director Louis Villarreal. Louis, I don't know how you must be feeling right now. Ecstatic?
I'm relieved that of course, we still have to bring the capsule into the water to the ship, but this is a major milestone to have the crew here on the ship. And our team has been preparing and working really hard, and I'm just so proud of them all. Everything amazing. We were able to have great conversations and communication about everything. And I don't know what else to say. I'm just so excited. It is such a wonderful feeling to get to this point. Again, we still have to get past all, but this is huge for all of us in the recovery. And I couldn't do this without my team. And of course, the full support of the U.S. military. There's going to be lots of, high fives when we get the capsule back in. And I'm so happy that the crew's doing well, Ryan's doing well, and, thank you for everybody watching.
Yeah, it was great to watch the crew come back to the ship with you. How were you feeling when you were seeing them looking so happy to be home and feeling really good?
The funny thing is that we had video of them from inside the Orion vehicle. They were like that from the beginning. When we opened the hatch, they were already out of their seats, having a good time, waiting for us to open the hatch. And they opened the hatch, and of course, we did the first medical assessment, and everybody was doing very well. And they were just having such a great time with the medical team that was inside the capsule. I think they were all taking selfies with photos that they had, probably talking about what they saw. And it was just smiles all around. They were having such a great time. And then we put them on the front porch. We were ready to put them on the front porch. And again, you can see they were just so excited to be home and talking to everybody. So we were very happy to see all of that and the total of what they all thought.
How remarkable is that? Again, if we think about their journey, the 695,000-mile journey around the moon and back, coming back at 30 times faster than the speed of sound. I mean, how remarkable is it that they are in such a speed?
I mean, this is amazing, really. I think you guys can see it the last 10 days. They're wonderful people, and we're so happy that they brought us along on that ride. And I can't wait to see all the additional videos and pictures that they had that, we'll get a hold of now that they're back on the ground. And I can't wait to hear how, a little more than what we saw on the press briefings from the crew about what they saw. It's just fantastic. Some of my favorite people who I was attending to the science team and how excited they were. And so this is exactly how we feel when we were with the science team. And oh my goodness, when we heard all the discussion about the moon, this is exactly how we feel now that we're in this team. We're so excited. And again, we have to look at the capsule. I'm not sure we don't forget about Orion.
It's all about the just thinking about what's next. But yeah, speaking of these 10 days, I mean, we have been a long part of the journey with them. Live with them 24/7 for 10 days, and just really seeing the engagement that we've gotten from around the world. What do you hope people take away from this mission?
I think that's fantastic. So, my story was that I went to the Kennedy Space Center. I was born in Colombia. I was 10 years old when we moved to the United States. When I was 7, my family took me to the visitor center, and that's when I learned about Apollo. And we went to the moon, and I learned about astronauts. And that story was what really fueled me to want to do STEM and want to be an astronaut. And I think that this Artemis program is going to do exactly what, with girls, my age back then was 7, young people right now, girls and even like young men, obviously. But we want to empower people to know that you can do this, right? If you want to come and work for NASA, I did it, they can do it. And Artemis program is just going to inspire everybody. And I'm so happy about that. Michael Powell inspired me.
Thank you so much, Lily. Really appreciate you being here. As you said, still a lot of work to do. 5 to 6 more hours to recover Orion. That's still out in the water, so I'll let you get back to it. But even beautiful words to say again. We hope that this inspires people. We hope that you come and join us at NASA and accomplish great things with us in the future. Back to you, Robin.
Thank you, Megan, and safe sailing out there in the Pacific. Here at Mission Control, it is now all quiet. The team of flight controllers and all their support personnel have left the room to enjoy the aftermath of a textbook touchdown by integrity that splashed down in the Pacific right on target to complete this historic flyby of the moon, the Artemis II mission. With that, we'll wrap up our coverage for the night and point you to a post-splashdown news conference in 15 minutes at 9:35 p.m. Central Time, 10:35 p.m. Eastern Time, where managers will discuss the return of the Integrity spacecraft and the completion of the Artemis II mission. With that, we'll wrap up our coverage for this evening and historic mission in the history books. This is Mission Control Houston. Main chute deployed. And we have 3 good main chutes. Splashdown confirmed.
Splashdown, waiting on you.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time.
Bye. It was nice meeting you. Take care of yourself. I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Take care.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
again. not be. Look at Bungie. Yeah. It would be a test.
It's not real. Yeah, it's not real.
خلصت بتلاقيني مكان ما نزلت. توقفش معانا.